And welcome back. This is Kevin with God, Family, and Everything Else. And today is going to be another fun one. What we're going to talk about today is the NFL and sports. Now, how many of you guys love sports? How many of you follow the NFL? I'd be happy to tell you that the NFL season has started yesterday. So that is something that I look forward to every year. Of course, the last game played was about 5 months ago, but that's a long time, especially for someone that loves sports and the NFL. Uh, Now, to kind of go back, you know, I've actually all my life enjoyed the NFL. Um, I've loved football as far as I can remember, and it's pretty funny. I love football because of my mom. Now, to kind of bring you back when I was a child, I believe I was about 4 to 5 years old, and I remember my mom always yelling at the TV like, "Run, run, run! Oh my gosh!" And kind of just getting upset and then cheering, and I'm just kind of curious like, what is my mom yelling at? And I always would watch on the TV. And at the time, we lived in Denver on Laurie Air Force Base, and my mom's yelling at the TV at the team, the Denver Broncos. Now that is my team. That is the team that I've always rooted for. And to be honest, it's because it was my mom's favorite team. And so, and there's some sentimental value. There's it brings back memories, all kinds of stuff. So the Broncos have always been my team. I've had some other teams that I've cheered for, but my Denver Broncos are the team that's always going to be in my heart because it just again brings me back to when I was a kid and seeing how excited my mom would get, and how even to this day, my mom and I still have conversations about the game, um, and what we think and what we thought about this, what we thought about this play, and who our next opponent is going to be, and what it's going to be like for our season. Do we see good things? Do we see bad things? So it's just a fun time of the year. How do I say it? Just another fun time of the year that I get to, enjoy this with my mom. Now, the fact that I live in Japan, I have to wake up super early, around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just to catch a game. But that is something I'm willing to do. I wake up and I turn on my phone, or I turn on my computer and I watch the game. Then I head to the gym and I actually watch the game there on my phone. And then after the game, my mom and I, we kind of chatted up and talked about what we thought. We either upset, disappointed, or excited for what the future may hold. And yeah, so the game that started the 2023 season, or should I say 22? Eh, eh. Anyways, the 2023 season was the Rams against the Bills. Now, I'm not a fan of either team, but the fact that the NFL has started, the regular season has started, I was really excited to see all the starters, to see all the new players, and see from the trades, the releases, the new signings, and see how that plays out in the first game. Now, preseason, I enjoy when the preseason starts because, of course, it just gets you to see what these rookies and all the players that are trying so hard to make the roster, what they're like. But then it kind of just fades out where you're kind of like, yeah, okay. When's the regular season going to start? But last night's game was actually pretty good. There was a lot of expectations because the Rams have won the Super Bowl last year. And they thought, in the season opener, oh, here we go. The Rams are going to go in and they're going to have a great game after, especially the unveiling of their, Super Bowl championship flag in their stadium. You thought it was going to be a good game. They were going to back it up. But no, the Bills came in and actually handed it to the Rams. They beat them in all aspects of the game. Offense, defense, the run game, the receiving game. Well, the run game, both teams were a little bit mediocre, but when it comes to the pass game, Josh Allen, I don't follow him too much, but he definitely put on a show with him and Diggs, and then my boy Von Miller, former Bronco, the Bronco MVP from Super Bowl 50, came in and he laid out what I believe he had 2 sacks. And And the Rams, they just didn't do very well at all. Again, I think I said the final score was 31-10. But NFL season has started, so I'm excited, and I want to know, what teams do you enjoy, and who are your favorite players, like currently and before, that are retired? And my two favorite players when I was growing up were Michael Irvin and John Elway. Now, Michael Irvin, I thought, was a phenomenal wide receiver when he played. Hall of Famer, and in his whole time, he accumulated 750 receptions for 11,904 yards, so nearly 12,000 yards for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, that was back in the 90s, but he was just one of those wide receivers where he was always reliable. You throw on the rock, he's always going to catch it, more than likely going to catch it. And he was just somebody that I really followed when I was younger, and always would say to myself that I'm Michael Irvin whenever my friends and we play street ball. Now, that was my favorite wide receiver. Now, my all-time favorite NFL player is John Elway. Now, John Elway is someone that, when I started following football, thanks to my mom, John Elway is that type of player that I really don't see very often in today now. Or maybe I'm just young, I don't know. But John Elway had heart. And that's why I follow him. And I consider him one of my, actually, the favorite player in the NFL. Because he had heart. He would go to Super Bowl, get knocked down, come back, get knocked down, come back, get knocked down, but he would not give up. And that was the thing that I really liked the most, is that he was a fighter, no matter what. And he wasn't one of those type of players that from what I could witness and what I could see, where he would always call people out. He would always do things behind the scenes and talk to his players and then lift them up. And yeah, like his entire time, he's just a great quarterback, and first all-ballot Hall of Famer. And so to this day, John Elway, he was the president of the Denver Broncos, and then he stepped down, and now someone else is the president of the team. But John Elway, as the president, he did deliver us a third Super Bowl, which was amazing. But then after that, after Peyton Manning ended up leaving, it kind of just started going downhill. Now, I always say this to my mom whenever we're talking, great players don't always make the best GMs. Just because you're a great player doesn't mean that you have an eye for talent. Look at Michael Jordan, for instance. Greatest player in the NBA. Arguably the greatest player in the NBA. And he, I believe, is the owner of the Charlotte Hornets. His draft picks were horrible. At that time, before that, he was the owner of I believe it was the Bobcats. I don't even know if they're still around. I don't think they're still around anymore. But he would always say, "Oh, this player, this player, that," but then turn out these players would be a bust or just mediocre. So I think Jordan is no longer doing that, evaluating talent. He's no longer yes men are around him, but he does know the game, just like John Elway. Like, just because he was a great quarterback doesn't mean you can spot a great quarterback yourself. But again, I am happy that the NFL season has started. Again, I want to know what you guys think about your team, what your season will hold, what you think is who's going to be the MVP, who do you think is going to be in the final game in the Super Bowl. I would love to see my Broncos, since we now have Russell Wilson from the Seattle Seahawks. We've always needed a quarterback ever since Manning left. It's just been a downhill slope, and Broncos are not usually known for that. Now we have a quarterback that's mobile, that has an arm, that has a good head on his shoulders, that's quick at decision maker, and very smart at making decisions as well. And we have the receivers, we have the secondary, we have the running game. So we definitely have the package to go far. But the only scary thing is that the Western Conference is huge. Looks like my son had left the timer on for some reason. Anyways, but the AFC West is loaded. We have the Raiders, definitely, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. 3 powerhouse teams. So definitely the Broncos have their work cut out for them, but I do have faith that it will be successful. It'll be a great season. And if we don't even make it to the Super Bowl, I believe we're going to make it to the playoffs, and then we can build upon that. And I'm just throwing this out there. Let's say the Broncos make it to the Super Bowl in the next 2 years. I would love it for this year, but the next 2 years. But it's just going to be, I'm just so happy that the NFL season has started. A lot to follow, a lot of players to see, a lot of things to witness, and it's just really cool, really fun time of the year. Now, with that being said, sports are very, what I love about sports, especially what I try to tell my son, is that sports teaches you a lot of things. It teaches you about character, it teaches you about discipline, teaches you about how to stay accountable, keep it, working hard for your goal, things like that. That's what sports teaches you. And right now, my son plays flag football for his team. He's a wide receiver. He started off as the middle linebacker, but now he is the official wide receiver for the team. He also plays a little bit of defense when they need him to be, but he is the tallest, the strongest, the fastest one on the team. There are other talented players on his team as well, but Kai is pretty big for his height. And when all they need to do is just toss the rock up, and he can just jump and get it. And what I'm amazed with, with him being 10 years old, he and I toss the ball around as well, but we don't toss the kiddie ball around. We toss the official adult-sized football, and he can actually chuck it pretty far, and he can catch my throws. I take a little bit off of it, of course, just because he's 10, but for the most part, I throw it pretty normal to him whenever he runs the routes or we're just standing there. So he definitely is built to do great things once he realizes his potential, and it just continues working hard if he wants to continue playing football. And now, what that being said, God has blessed us with these sports and these things that we can enjoy in earth and just come together and then witness all the fun. All of this wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God. He wants us to have fun on earth. He wants us to enjoy our time here, but at the same time, we must still honor and glorify Him and share the gospel with other people. So we can also do that in football. We can do that by whenever we have interviews or people want to ask us questions, or even with our teammates, or just try to lift them up, because we all go through struggles and situations like injuries, being cut, being benched, anything, any type of adversity. But we must always remember that, God is always in control of our life. God may place you in that situation for a reason. He may place you in this other situation for a reason, or just at that current time, play in the NFL for a short time and take you out. It's all in God's hands. It's not up to us, it's up to Him. But while we are there, let's do the best that we can by glorifying and honoring Him. So, with that, I have a verse that I would like to share. It's from 1 Corinthians 9:24. And it says, "Do you not know that the race all runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize." We're not always going to win the race. But what that verse is saying is that we must work hard in everything that we do. Even if we lose, we must come prepared. It's just like football. You can't just wake up and then be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go out there and play the game. And then just knock out some numbers, not even preparing for it. There's a lot that goes into it. It's the same thing about sharing the gospel with other people. You can't just open up the Bible and start reading it and telling people, hey, this is Jesus, this is this. And then you are faced with difficult questions, and then you're going to be like, I don't know. You can't do that. Now, are we going to have the answer for everything? No, we're not. But what's most important is that we keep our eyes and our heart inside the Bible, aka the playbook. Just like players on the field, they have a playbook that they must stick to. They must study it. So when the play is called, they know where they're supposed to be. They know what to do at this current moment. Just like the Bible, it's our current playbook. It teaches us what we're supposed to do in each situation. How do we handle it? How do we maneuver from the left to the right? Because our opponent is this world. It is Satan, because they're going to be running plays against us, trying to counter the moves. But God has given us this perfect playbook that when we rely on Him and we do what is necessary to face these challenges, that we will prevail. There will be moments and times where we will get knocked down, but God's like, hey, don't stay down. It may seem dark right now, but I'm with you through this darkness because it's helping you grow. It's strengthening you. I want you here for a reason. Then when the time is right, I will pull you out. But you have to trust in me and trust in my word. The playbook. Just like the coach is saying, trust me. These are the plays that I'm going to call. I may call a bad one, but God's not like that. God doesn't call the bad ones. But He calls the play at the right time when we need it. It's not up to us. We should leave it into God's hands. But I wanted to share that with you. Again, I am excited for the NFL and for this season and to see where the Broncos are going to go. So, again, please, if you like this channel, if you like this podcast, please comment, share, subscribe. Again, this is God, family, and everything else. I'm your host, Kevin, and I will see you next time. God bless.